One.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Capes Cast podcast. I'm Jeremy,
No, I'm Ryan.
and there's a lot to talk about this week.
Yeah, big week
Hella,
of books, man.
hella books, man. It's been a long time since I've had like this many like
Yeah,
books come
I
out that I've
had
been.
like 14 books.
Oh, also this I forgot. This also came out this week.
Oh, that's dope. Mouse Guard.
Yeah,
I
Mouse
never
Guard is
got into
finally back.
Mouse Guard. I never got into Mouse Guard, but
Mouse Guard's finally back.
that's pretty cool. That looks gorgeous. The art looks
Yeah,
great.
it was actually a really good first issue. I'm excited. Like the Black Axe stuff is my favorite part of that whole like universe.
Yeah,
So I think it's like this is like who created it, the first guys to wield it, all that. It's cool. I like it so
yeah,
far. Solid. But we can go over that later. Excuse me. I do want to start with DC solicitations before we get into any of the books.
for sure.
June kicks off. Hush 2, whatever you want to call it, Hatoosh,
Yeah, dude.
Two Hush, Two Shush. I don't know, whatever you want to. I don't know,
I
whatever you
just
want to
don't
call it.
understand because like they're keeping it a secret whether we know it's current or after Hush One. I asked literally there was a post that Alex Sinclair did.
Mhm.
And I asked him, and he said, "You really want me to tell you?" And I was like, "Yeah." He was like, "They'll kill me. I can't." And I'm like, "Why?" And I'm like, "Why?" Like,
Oh
and I'm like,
man,
"So you want me to believe that Batman, like, for this arc, just put on his Hush outfit that he had
hell yeah,
back
dude.
then, and then just
He
goes back
he
to
saw Thomas Elliot again. He's like, "Ugh."
yeah?"
He got
And
to
then
suit
he's
back
like,
up.
"Oh crap, Matt Fraction's gonna write me." So Jorge Jimenez just gave me an outfit change right after it. So
Yeah, he's like, may as well put it on one last time.
it's like, come on, man. Like, just and like in there's like images of Red Hood just being like the
Red
old
Hood.
Jason Todd, and I feel
I don't
like
know. We'll
so
see. I'm
past it.
I'm not reading it, so that's where I'm at. I'm not gonna read it.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. Um, yeah, Superman Unlimited.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
That's the Dan
And
Slott one,
Slot.
right? Not reading it. I can't believe that. See, and what pisses me off about
It's
this book,
Raphael Albuquerque though, and I'm like,
I
God.
know, but what really pisses me off about this book is that this book is the reason why the Philip Kennedy Johnson book is being pushed back.
Yes. Yes.
And it's like annoying
It
because
is.
I would rather read that instead.
Yes. I would rather find out like this whole Olgren saga that he's
Yes,
building, dude.
dude, and I'm telling you, they got something against him, bro, and it's
I
my
don't get it.
conspiracy. That's my comic conspiracy. Is
Yeah.
they're trying to shut that down. I don't know why. I love that. I love that storyline. I don't wish
Yeah.
it would happen.
Yeah. I agree.
Um, Wonder Woman keeps going. Trinity, daughter of Wonder Woman, starts. Tom King, Blaine
Oh
Ortega,
yeah, I need to put that on my poll.
6 issues. Absolute Bane is being introduced.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can pull it up here.
Yeah.
Good guy.
Which is crazy because Batman's already ridiculously
Yeah,
roided
this
out
guy's
and
huge.
huge.
Let's see. Um,
But that's taking place after that whole Mr. Freeze thing that they're doing. They're going
yeah.
back.
So, and then Absolute Superman. I like this cover because it's like the three. It's like Kal-El, no,
Oh,
Kal, Lois,
Jimmy.
and Jimmy in Smallville books. But in
Yeah.
the background, if you zoom in, the books on the back wall are the Absolute books. Like there's Absolute Batman, Absolute Superman, Absolute Wonder Woman is in there.
Oh, what?
There's like yeah, and there's like a bunch of random issues of stuff.
What? That's dope.
Yeah, it's cool. I thought it
It's
was
just in
really
the
cool.
reflection of like the crystals or
No, it's not. It's just it's in the because it's like the glass of Smallville books. So you see like in the background,
oh yeah, that's pretty cool.
like the books on the wall.
That's pretty cool. That's a cool little Easter egg there.
Yeah, I like that. I thought that
Rafa
was cool.
Sandoval, huh? That's dope.
I thought that was cool. Let's see. Absolute Wonder Woman. She's like in the labyrinth.
Cool.
This reminds me of like those classic video game box arts.
Oh yeah,
Like it looks sick.
it does. I know what you're talking about, like the original Nintendo box arts that had like the
Yeah,
more realistic looking art style with things, and yeah.
yeah, exactly. Where's the here they are. The Justice League and World's Finest crossover continues.
Oh yeah, yeah. Stoked for that.
Adam Project is ending finally.
Yeah,
With the that's been actually not too bad.
it's not too bad, but I'm still just kind of like,
It's kind of
just
meandering along. We'll see.
yeah,
I'm kind of sick of Captain Adam. Like he's just whatever.
yeah,
He's
like
always just kind like he's always getting like the shit into the stick, but he's always a dick.
yeah,
It's like, dude, I don't know. Maybe there's a correlation there. Maybe if you stop being a dick, people wouldn't give you a hard time, man.
yeah. I really like Mike Perkins' art though, so
Yeah, it's good stuff. And Ryan Paris doing a pretty good job. I mean, he
Mhm.
does. I like Rogue Sun that he's doing over there for the Massiverse, so that's really
Right,
good.
yeah.
The New History of the DC Universe by Mark Waid.
What does this mean?
He's restructuring the DCU's history. It says in celebration of 90 years of DC superfan and writer Mark Waid turns back time to the very beginning of the DC universe in a four-issue miniseries drawn by some of DC's greatest artists and told by its newest chronicler of time, Barry Allen the Flash. In our debut issue, Barry takes us from the very birth of the DC universe to the rise of the Justice Society. The golden age of heroes begins here. So it's four issues, and it will be retelling the history of the DC universe over four issues. And
You're
it's
gonna have
Waid.
anybody do it. If you're gonna have anybody,
And the first art for the first issue is Jerry Ordway and Todd Knock.
oh wow, okay,
So it's gonna be banger, dude.
wow.
Hella good variants. Dan
If you're gonna
Mora.
have anybody do it, Mark Wade's the person to do it.
Variants by Dan Mora. Main covers by Chris Samney, Ryan Sook, Mike Cho, Art Germ, Scott Koblish.
Oh,
There's a blank variant. Oh, yes, baby. I'm on it, dude.
dude, yeah, I
Ima-
gotta get
Could
that.
you imagine?
That's pretty cool. That like, I don't.
I listen. I need the blank for that because could you imagine like a classic DC jam piece with like
Yeah,
remarks of all the different class like DC like JLU? Oh, that would be so cool.
that would be. That's dope, man.
I can't keep doing this to myself, dude.
Telling you, like Mark Wade and Hickman are just fucking trailblazing for both.
Yeah, so good. New Gods continues.
Yeah,
There's a Dan Mora variant. Oh,
no way of who.
it's the Justice League, but with a Highfather in the background.
Oh, that's dope. That is dope. Oh
It's a
my,
good cover, dude.
yeah, that's a dope cover.
Oh, man, this sucks, dude.
Right?
Let's see. Oh, the Mark Wade action, the Superboy stuff starts.
He's doing Superboy?
So Action Comics, it's a Mark Wade comes back, and it's Skylar Partridge on art, and it's Clark Kent on the Kent farm. So like early years back when he's in Smallville. It'll be
That's
cool.
dope.
It'll be
That's
cool.
dope. Yeah.
This is probably something I'll eventually. I don't know. Like I don't really.
Do you know
Like,
if it's like related to Birthright or anything like that? Because he kind of did that in Birthright, right? Like he kind of went into the.
I mean, I'm sure it probably will be in some like maybe in like spirit. I don't know that it'll probably be like story wise related,
Because
but
I think actually Last Days of Lex Luthor is like a sequel to Birthright.
it kind of yeah, it kind of feels like I haven't read Birthright in a long time, but it kind of feels like it.
Yeah.
But I would imagine this is probably in that same like spirit and like kind of the same like it would be stories told in that fashion and that kind of in the young days of Clark Kent.
That's cool.
I mean, I'm all about it, dude.
Yeah, I feel like he's gonna go like to like deep dives in that history though. Like he's,
like you could see maybe we could see some cool Legion stuff.
yeah, I was about to say he's gonna probably go into the Legion of
That would
Super.
be fire, dude.
Yeah, dude. You know, like original continuity because
It's
they
so funny,
erased
man.
that
Like
like after after like Crisis happened.
yeah, it's so
They
funny because like when I was younger, I used to just kind of read this like only the stuff that I really liked. Like I wasn't as adventurous, but now I just kind of like everything just sounds cool if it's like a cool idea and it's really got a good writer behind it. For me,
That's
I
what
just
I'm saying. I follow creative teams and like writers and stuff.
yeah.
You know,
There's
like
so many good
I'm just
ones now
gonna
that I end up
love
reading a lot of
characters.
stuff anyway. You know what I mean?
You get a good writer writing a character I don't really even care about, and I'll still love it.
Yeah.
Great.
Metamorpho, dude. I don't give a shit. I didn't give a shit about Metamorpho, but I'm reading it because Al Ewing's writing it, and it's just a
Yeah,
fun
and his
book.
that recent Wade story was great too.
Yeah. Nightwing continues.
Yeah, I'm buying the trade for that whenever that comes out for
It's
sure.
good, bro. It's good.
Mhm. Yeah,
Flash
I
is
believe you.
continues on. Whatever. Green Arrow. I missed Absolute Flash. I missed the other Absolute books. Where did they go? Here we go. Yeah, here we go. Absolute Flash. Number 4. Though this solicitation sound interesting. While he's on the run and looking for any safe space to hide out, he finds himself in Central City and meets a kindly man who offers him a place to crash at the youth mission. But is anyone truly safe when the fastest kid alive comes to their city?
Jay Garrick.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah,
That's what I'm thinking, man. I'm
that's what I'm
thinking it is Jay Garrick.
thinking.
Um, Absolute Martian Manhunter. Did you read the preview for that?
Yeah, dude.
That
Yeah,
shit looks good, dude.
it looks really good. I'm loving
Oh
the
man,
colors, loving it.
looks
Javier
great.
Rodriguez is like the perfect person to have that trippy,
Yes, dude.
like
That book is gonna be such a sleeper hit, dude.
yeah,
Like it's gonna be incredible. I already have a good feeling about that.
yeah. I'm stoked, dude.
Absolute Green Lantern continues issue 3. Hal has been overcome by his curse, probably confirming he is gonna be Black Hand. I mean, even the cover kind of hints at it too. And the art looks crazy, dude. I can't wait for this.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, I think Joe's a pretty cool character, like
She
in
is. Yeah,
DC. But like, this is gonna be sick, I think. I'm just a shill at this point, it sounds
yeah.
like.
Everything for the absolute universe. I'm
Yeah, dude. Let's see. Yep, Justice League Unlimited. Already got through that. Let me go back. I'm not reading Catwoman. Green Arrow's been pretty good.
yeah.
Been reading that. Green Lantern's been good.
Yes, it has.
Green Lantern Corps has been pretty good as well.
Mm-hmm.
Crypto by Ryan North starts in June.
Yeah, I gotta put that on my poll too.
Dude, this by this with this awesome Dustin Nguyen cover, dude. Crypto.
Where
Can't
Dustin
be-
Wentz getting paid right.
Hell yeah, dude. Good for him.
Yeah.
Mr. Terrific continues. World's Finest continues issue 40.
Oh, good. Yeah, that's good news at least. Crazy that we're having 40 issues of a DC book. That's nuts.
Yeah, man. It's been really good though. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna complain. So, Batgirl still continues on, which has been pretty good. JSA
Mm.
continues by Lemire.
Mm.
I'm very excited for this one.
So,
Robin and Batman sequel by Lemire and Dustin Nguyen. But it's Jason Todd this time, not Dick
oh,
Grayson.
so they're probably gonna do all
Maybe
three.
all four Robin.
At least I wanted at least see three, but yeah, if they do
Yeah,
all four, that would be great.
dude. Like, okay, here's the main cover.
Because the first series was Dick, right?
Yeah, it's great, dude. It's so good.
Yeah.
And then the Lemire cover. Yeah, look, and he's Nightwing in it.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, he's Nightwing in it. Oh man, so I imagine there'll be some continuity there, hopefully.
That's amazing.
I can't wait for this. I'm so excited. It's gonna be sick. Batman and Robin, keep on keeping on.
Hmm.
Batman and Robin year 1. Let's keep it on.
Yep.
Zatanna,
Oh yeah.
issue number 5.
Hmm. Great looking book, man.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, Jamal Campbell's killing it with those books, dude. With those his art and the writing, honestly,
Yeah.
because it's actually really the story's really interesting.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it later because I want to talk about it. Let's see. Dark Patterns. The third case starts in June. The old gangs of Gotham.
Hmm.
When a dead body is found burnt to a crisp in the heart of one of Gotham's oldest neighborhoods, the Rookery, the Dark Knight detective finds himself enmeshed in a twisting murder mystery dating back to the early days of the Red Hood gang.
That sounds great.
I'm not I'm gonna read it because it's been great so far. So I have no reason to think it
I
won't
just
be.
wonder how would they go from ventriloquist to that. But let's go. Let's go
Well, I
down.
mean, how do we go from Wounded Man, the
Yeah.
Wound Man, to ventriloquist? Like, that's why I'm saying this is why I like it because they're just self-contained. I can just go from one story to the next and not have to spend too much time with continuity because it's just random cases,
Yeah.
which I like.
I agree. It works so well. It's a brilliant idea.
Sonic and DC continues. They keep dropping these Hush facsimiles to keep on with the Hush
Oh
2.
yeah.
Um, that's about it, man, for DC solicitations.
Okay.
Comic news, what else? Oh, I heard something about McFarlane Toys losing the stuff with the DC figures.
Really?
Mattel's got the license now,
Ooh.
which is kind of, well, speaking of that,
Well, I
so
was about to say, I wonder if that's the reason why he spoke out in favor of them recently amongst the like Stan Lee drama.
I don't know. That's possible. I don't know. But yeah, Mattel has, I guess, has the rights, and they'll be making DC toys, which is kind of a shame because I like the quality. I like the quality of the McFarlane toys.
Okay.
But speaking of McFarlane toys, so I've picked up a few over the last like years, couple years. Picked
Uh-huh.
up the Wally blue suit, man, like the Wally Hatton one. I picked
Oh
up
yeah.
the regular, well, like Infinite Frontier red suit Wally. Then I picked up the Batman Superman fusion one.
Oh yeah.
And then tonight I just picked up this one, Max Mercury. They paid $5, bro. It was on sale, $5.
What?
He came out like 6 months ago.
I guess people would be sleeping on Max Mercury though.
I'm
So
telling you, dude. I don't know what happened. Like
like,
I looked all around the store for an employee. I'm like, can you price check this? I'm just curious because the other figures were on sale too.
yeah.
Normally they're like $20. So she's like, yeah, and then like the prices on like the on the rack it was on were like 13 and 9, and I'm like, okay, he's like, $9, whatever, 13, I could do that, whatever.
Right.
So then she scans it, she's like, oh, $5. I'm like, all right, I guess I am getting it.
Right.
So yeah, I picked up Max tonight
Yeah. That's dope,
at
dude.
the store. Yeah, it's tight.
That's how I got they had a big bar to like I don't even collect those pop toys, but they had like a big bar to pop toy or
Hmm.
at like GameStop for like 4.99. So I was like, I'm gonna get that shit and just put it on display in my living room because it's Barda. I love Barda.
Yeah. You want to just dive right into it?
Yeah, man. Let's
What do you
go.
want to start with?
Well, I got my stack right here and Flash is at the top, so I guess let's just go for
Let's
it. Yeah, man.
yeah,
Dude. Yeah, this was
so good.
this was incredible, bro.
Uh,
I mean,
I
I
want I
I
want your
know
thoughts
better.
first. I want your thoughts first.
Uh-huh.
I want to hear what you think about it.
I think it's exactly what the absolute universe needs. I think we need a younger Flair. I think we need something as serious as this is and as dark as this is because it's very like mental health, anxiety.
Yeah, like his powers seem to be tied to his anxiety levels.
Yeah, like his flight or flight, like fight or flight response, is like
Mhm.
very triggering to his, and so I really like that kind of take on it where it's like, hey,
Yeah,
like my thoughts are racing, so like my body's kind of like following my thoughts, like how fast I'm thinking. Like it's kind of like,
yeah,
my thoughts are racing, and it's like that's exactly what it kind of feels like to have anxiety too. It's like everything's a cyclone in your head. So it's just I feel like it works so well, and I think that's a brilliant.
yeah. And like Robles does, I think, a good job of like on the page showing him
Yeah,
like lashing out, like especially like those like the second page is like that double page spread that we
yeah,
saw, like even in the previews. Like
yeah,
it's just like all of the faces are. It's kind of like horrific in a
yeah,
way.
yeah.
So I think it's really good. Like I think it's really like that's expressed really well.
I mean, I also really loved it because it gave me CW Flash vibes because when he turns, there's like another Flash there. Did you see that? Isn't there like another Flash right there? Like when he like basically is a part of the experiment, there's like an so is it like hinting that he goes back in time?
Wait, what do you mean?
I want to say
Like at
it's
the end?
yeah, so if you
You mean this page right here?
so yeah, I remember seeing something like that and being like, yeah, you see there's like somebody through the thing and like saying
That's Barry. I'm pretty sure. It has to be Barry because the next like those next two pages, it's this he's wearing the same suit. He's
oh, okay. Because I kind of thought that was like the way it was
no,
drawn,
see,
like
here's the thing.
like a rift
Here's
in time or
I
something.
do think that there's a thing with the timeline, like some time travel timeliney stuff, because the title of the arc is of two worlds.
Right, which is a callback to the
Yeah.
OG,
Yeah, like
Jake,
yeah,
Eric, and
exactly.
Barry meetup. But
Right. So like I'm curious to see if like what this means. Like is is there two timelines, one where he has powers and one where he doesn't, or and Barry does? Or is there a timeline where he's alive and then he's not alive? Like he's alive and has powers and he died in the other timeline. Like the it's like off the bat, I think the title is interesting.
yeah,
So because it kind of and like I've read it three times already.
okay,
So like every time I read it, I feel like I'm like kind of I'm and maybe this is just me like this is what I always do. Like I get excited and I try to piece it apart and I kind of try to see where things are gonna go, even though I have no really basis for anything, you know. But I don't know, like and I think that's I don't know. I'm really interested to see where that in particular goes,
right.
especially because
I don't know. It just gives me weird vibes that Barry's like dead, and I feel like he's not. Some time travel with
no,
shenanigans.
I definitely don't think he's dead dead.
Yeah,
The other thing I think about maybe he like because maybe these things that we're seeing aren't Wally. Like when he uses powers like these other like the like in the here for example, maybe that's Barry and he's trapped. You know, I don't know.
yeah.
There's
Kind of makes sense if that's the case because, like, in the
and
original,
maybe he's hearing this voice in his head and he's like and that's why he blames himself because Barry's like this is your fault. You did this to me.
just very Eobard-y, but yes,
Exactly, yeah. And then he comes back as his worst enemy. When when from the jump we kind of see we get this feeling of like, well, here I kind of want to look out for you. I can't, come hang out with me. Your dad doesn't really give a shit, so come hang out with me. Which
yeah,
for Wally, he's kind of like, oh, is that cool? Somebody's like kind of taking an interest in me.
right,
Then by the end of the issue, Barry's dead. What if he's not dead? What if he's just this like Speed Force spirit,
right.
and he's chained to Wally in some way, but then it could be something later on he gets out.
Right,
And,
because
and, and, and,
Eobard's
it's a
done things
very
like
like
that.
Hunter Zolomon kind of thing because Hunter blames Wally for his accident, and he can say, "Hey, like this is your fault. You did this to me." But then he can be like, "Now I can make your life a living hell."
Yeah. Do you think that monkey's going to be Grodd?
Oh, 100%. I think at this point it's obvious, and I'm pretty sure they've even commented on it and said it's Grodd, which I think is cool. I like kind of like the dynamic with them befriending, like them being friends, and him
It's
kind
very
of
Why the Last Man because it's like
yeah,
and I love
good point. Yeah,
yeah.
good point. I also think that it's interesting because you can see, and I think I've said this before, like obviously Wally doesn't have control of these powers. So
Right.
if you put care you give him an ally like Grodd, whose whole shtick is mental control, you help him kind of put those guardrails on Wally or the mental blocks to help
And
him
Grodd
use
could
his
be
stuff.
explaining what's going on, to
Right,
make Wally understand what's going on when he doesn't.
right, exactly. Like it could be really cool, man.
Yeah, I think this is going to be dope because obviously they're not going to be able to like I feel like right now like physically talk to each other, but it's going to be
Yeah,
all mental.
mental, right, exactly.
which is pretty
Right.
cool. Like I think that's such a cool. Like I'm not gonna lie, like we'll get into it more with like Absolute Batman, but I'm like loving like the friends that they make of like their villains in,
Yes.
you know,
Yes, I
and
think that's very cool
yeah, like
because like yeah, and that seems to be on brand with this whole Omega energy being like the source of
yeah, with
anything
like
in this world.
Cersei and
Cersei being Diana's mom. You know, you've got hell. I mean, you introduced Barbara Minerva, and we don't know what her angle is yet, but she could very well end up being an ally.
right,
Because especially since it seems like the gods are the antagonists of this book, and not necessarily her human rogues gallery.
right,
And we haven't seen anybody like Doctor Psycho or any of those characters yet. But who's it's who's to say?
right,
Never know.
yeah. We haven't seen that really in Superman yet, though,
No, I mean, yeah, which I think
unless it's Soul, but
Superman, I think is probably gonna be like the most like I would say like same
yeah,
like as far as like lore goes. I don't know. At least to me, that's kind of what it feels like.
yeah. 1 second. Yeah, sorry about that, guys. That was my bad. But anyways, continue that thought.
But yeah, like, I don't know. Like with Absolute Superman, I just get the feeling that that's gonna be the one that's kind of most. That's probably gonna be closer to mainline Superman than the other books with their
Right,
respective heroes.
right.
I don't know. Because I mean, regardless, what I also think is interesting about this as opposed to the other ones is it's very like oh they all are like pretty character driven, I guess, but this one is just like really small scale.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like it's very like it's like the story is very personal as opposed to you have like Bruce Wayne in this corrupt city. Like you have the whole playground of Gotham, and that's kind of what the book is about, is him kind of is taking back his city.
right,
But then you have Superman and the entire world is your playground, and it's this kind of this global scale of he's trying to protect humanity and the wrong, and corrupt corporations and corrupt governments and all this stuff. And then you've got Wonder Woman who is handling the magical and the kind of more fantasy aspects
yeah.
of this. So it's like different dimensions and hell and going to the underworld next arc, like those things.
Kaijus and gods and
Yeah, exactly, yeah. So but then you have this where it's very much just about a boy who ends up in this accident and he's all alone and his dad is basically like kind of just saying like get the hell back here and I'm gonna sick these people after you. It's kind of where we're at with this story, you know what I mean? Like it's very personal and it's just about the characters and not necessarily their actions in the world yet, like the other titles are.
right, right.
So that's interesting. I think that's very interesting to see.
Yeah,
So I'm interested to see how that's gonna like what the trend will be, like kind of what I guess what the focus is for Absolute Martian Manhunter.
yeah.
I don't know. We'll see what happens. Regardless, I think they're all going to be great. So,
I
and
think
they've
so.
all been great so far.
Yeah, the creative teams behind them, I feel like they're just all gonna
And the
hit.
rogues in this are really cool.
Yeah.
I really like the rogues.
Mhm.
You've got Captain Cold, Captain Boomerang, got a Golden Glider, and the Trickster.
It seems like, they're there to do their job, but I feel like it's gonna maintain that whole thing of like we're not gonna actually hurt and kill Wally. Like we're just gonna
Yeah.
like it's just our job to go after him and like,
Yeah, I like how even well, like Dead or Alive, Captain, he's all like alive for
yeah,
now. Very much like the cool, suave, like put my glasses on.
yeah.
I like the jumping back and forth with like the like still like we're getting a glimpse of what's happening right now, and then like he'll get like a surge, and then we'll like jump back.
Right.
So do you think maybe he is like time jumping?
It could be that that's like a literal device that they're using to tell the story. It's not just,
Yeah.
that would be cool.
Because we get it starts off now, and then it
But
goes
that
to
would make sense because there is moments where he just like kind of pops up and it's like yellow and red and it's just
right,
like
and that's what I'm saying. Like in the first two pages, like when he's running in the desert, and his powers start to go crazy, and he's like falling on the ground, and then he opens his eyes and he's on the tracks.
right. And he's
And you
two.
see,
It says
like the
2 days
red and
ago,
the lightning in his eyes.
and it's like 2 days ago, and he's like, I slowed it down, and like it's 2 days ago,
Yeah,
and then it's like now, and then
right.
basically,
And then we jump to now, and he's
and then he has another fit with the rogues running in the cave, and then boom, he's suddenly back in his
right. He's in his room a day ago,
yeah,
and and he has that moment when he's playing his guitar,
yeah,
red and the yellow in the eyes, and then he has this conversation with his dad, and he takes off, and
right,
then, well, like, and then here's the other thing too is like he splashes in the water, and you see this like tiny frame, like this tiny panel, like when he runs outside after he has an argument with his dad.
yeah,
And it's the night of the thunderstorm, like when Barry, like the accident.
right, and
So
that
like
tiny panel is even
the
red
tiny
again,
panel where it's just red, but it's a reflection in the water.
right,
And then you have like all of these little red panels that lead up to where he's supposed to go. Obviously, I don't think they're there for him. Like they're there for us, not for him. I don't think he sees them. You know what I mean?
right.
And I think it's maybe just to show that like you start to see this like fracture of time. It could be a plot device, and maybe I'm just looking too
No,
much into it.
I think you're onto something. I think you're onto
But
something because the only time we don't see that happen is literally the flash forward.
yeah, right, exactly.
And that's the only literal time jump I think we see. I think everything else has been Wally's perspective and Wally's.
Right, and then you have like him kind of flashing back. He's running from the rogues in the cave, but it's flashing back to the night of the accident.
Yeah.
And so when he runs into the cave here, like, is this? So here's my question: Is this cave also the same place where Barry died?
It looks very similar. I'm literally looking at it right now. Yeah, it
Like,
looks
that's what I'm saying. Like, because if you go, like, here, just go to that page, that final page, like where it's Barry's dead body. Like, because that's kind of what it seems like. Because the page
yeah.
before it is him running away, and
Exactly.
then obvious like because and like unless it's just like a trick of the
Could be.
lighting, but I don't know. Or maybe he hid Barry's body. You know what I mean? Like who knows?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Wow. I don't know. I'm so stoked to find out more
But
about.
then you have like the last couple of pages where it's and it's Mirror Master coming just straight out the mirror like a
Yeah.
year later, and he like obviously activates Olympus, the Project Olympus stuff, and he has all the files, and you see like I think it's Tar Pit maybe.
Yeah.
And then you've got like Wally suiting up. You've got the monkeys,
Yeah. Which I mean
Gorilla,
Gorilla City, I guess.
Gorilla City. Yeah,
Yeah.
you've got whatever this is,
Yeah. I don't know what that is. It
and
looks
then
like they're trying to do like a
Rod
recreation.
and
It
Wally up there.
looks like they're trying to do a recreation.
Maybe
Like they tried it again.
that's possible. Yeah,
And then yeah, you have basically like it shows like Wally and basically Grodd communicating in some weird
yeah.
symbols.
Either way, man, really, really great first issue.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's Jeff Lemire. I mean,
Bound to be a banger.
it's always going to be great when it's him. Uh,
Straight up.
I guess we could just go into Absolute Batman and how unhinged this was. Not to go too deep into it and got other books to talk about, but I really love that Batman's basically like telling his friends who he is.
Yeah,
We're
interesting.
getting that out of the way. Like we're not gonna do this whole.
Because like, what happens if they
Which, to be honest with you,
eventually they become villains?
okay, well, let's be honest here. I thought about this, and there's a little plot hole here that I feel like Batman completely overlooked, and that's why I feel like it makes sense that he would tell his friends this because he's not trying to hide his identity.
Right.
Because if you think about it, a big guy in a bat suit comes out, and all of his friends know he was stuck in a bat thing while his dad died, and everybody knows he
I
basically
feel like it was an unspoken thing.
And everybody knows he created this bat bridge to go to the zoo, and everybody knows he became obsessed with bats, and then this giant bat just shows up. So it's
You know what
like
I'm saying? Like
I
they
feel
they
like no, they were gonna figure it out anyway. It was too,
right. It was probably one of those things where like they would have found out sooner or later, or
but I feel
they
like
would have
Gordon should know
start.
too. I feel like Gordon should know because Gordon basically like held Bruce in there, you
Yeah,
know.
that's true.
So it's like, why doesn't Gordon know? Like, there's a big giant bat that's literally the size of Bruce Wayne because he's huge.
Yeah.
I just feel like, like he didn't really do a good job to try to not put Bruce Wayne
Well,
close.
right. I mean, and
You know?
think about it. He's been pretty reckless, I would say, thus far anyway. So
Yeah,
maybe that's, he didn't. And here's the thing is just being a middle class, regular ass dude, he doesn't have a lot to lose if
right,
his identity is revealed. He's just a regular guy
right.
who has a vendetta because his dad got shot. And he, like, for all intents and purposes, like he's probably the guy that could, that you think, oh man, maybe it is him.
Yeah,
So I don't really, I don't, to me, it didn't never seem like he was really trying to hide it.
right.
He wasn't like actively telling people that he was Batman, but he also wasn't like as keen to hide it as Prime Earth Bruce Wayne.
And Snyder continues the tradition of him doing a Dark Knight Returns freaking
It
panel.
was really that was a cool page, man.
Yeah.
That was a
Dude,
cool
every
page.
single one of his runs has that.
Mhm.
Like every single one.
Okay, do you think they're obviously gonna reprint this issue? Is the cover
That's got to be a foil.
is it that is it the panel of him kicking the baby,
That
or
is
could
hilarious.
you imagine a wraparound cover just that blown up?
That is so that should have me rolling, bro. That's I'll
Or
get
just the panel of him smiling really big,
yeah. I
or him sticking his things in
That
Black
was
Mass.
pretty terrifying looking him for
Dude,
something like that.
yeah,
Like
that big old smile. Yeah.
yeah. But like I love that like Oswald's like, I can't believe like you didn't
Yeah.
mention this. He's like, but Eddie figured it out though. He said he guessed it a long time ago. And I feel like that's because of what I said. Like it's like
Yeah, like I don't
so
feel like
easy.
he was something he was ever really trying to hide.
Yeah. Like, you know,
Because he knows what his friends are up to. He knows that they're probably not the cleanest folk.
right.
So and like like again, look at his upbringing as opposed to what it is in main universe. As what I keep thinking about. Anytime I feel like I'm like, oh, this could be a problem for me, I'm like, I just have to think like this is. I have to think about like who this Bruce Wayne is as a character because he's not just the rich, he's not the rich playboy. He's just a regular ass dude that is trying to do right by the city.
Yeah.
That's
And
all
I
he is.
But yeah, this is the he ends up punching a child guy or kicking a child guy. He punts it, just fuck out of here. He does not care. And I feel like that's probably the whole
Dude,
reason why we got these weird looking alien things because he's probably like, I want to have Bruce kick a child, and they're like, well, you can't kick a human child, and he's like,
he's like, you just kill this weird alien baby.
yeah, but this weird alien kid,
He's like, but you have to kick it into the water and it has a life vest on.
yeah. But it's funny too because that's when you like the mom or something's
Yeah,
there.
it's just like,
He's
oh,
like,
oh, never
you're
mind.
here, and then he sees their smile, sees
Just
the
jumps
smile,
right
and
out. Yeah,
just jumps. And I'm like Batman is this Batman's just so unhinged, and
it just cracks me up, dude.
it's funny, dude. It's really
Um,
funny, but it's great. It's great, even if I'm laughing at it. It's fantastic. But
and I don't know this. What do you think about this first arc?
I see now why they put Joker in the end of the first issue with how this ended.
What's the deal with Joker? I don't get it.
I don't know what the hell he's got on him, but it basically implied that like all of Black Mass money came from Joker.
Yeah,
So Joker was initially tied to this. Oh,
right. And I feel like it. We were just talking about this. This is like an escalation of threats things. You have this Black Mask. You have the party animals. And you've got in between these escalating threats to Joker, you've got the other rogues. Like you've got Mr. Freeze coming into the next two issues, and then you've got Bane, who is directly tied to Joker, and then you're probably going to get somebody else, maybe Scarecrow, because like, and I have a feeling that might be the trend we're going to see with this book, is it's almost going to be like this low class, middle class Batman is going to have to fight his way up the ladder to beat the big bad at the end. So, but it's gonna be like a test of Batman's different attributes that we see in
Yeah.
main Batman. His strength, his raw like his power, his fighting ability against Bane. The next, if it is Scarecrow, it'll probably be something along because I don't Crane isn't in his group of friends, right?
No.
It's just Waylon, Oz,
Riddler.
Eddie, Selena, and yeah, that's it. Just the five
And
of them, right?
Harvey.
Yeah, and Harvey Dent, yeah. So like I have a feeling, and and then the next one, if it is Scarecrow, you could see him test like, the fear of Batman.
Right.
His,
Or it could be like Bruce having to confront being back in the bat thing again while his
yeah,
dad's
like being able to overcome his fear and confronting them and having to outsmart him in that way.
right.
Or maybe, maybe one of his friends sells out to Joker, and it's Riddler, and he has to outsmart Riddler. Or if it is somebody else, maybe it's Dent. And there's a trial of the Batman. Like
And,
there's so many ways that this could go.
and
It's interesting, like
the
when I
whole
think
part with the
about it that way.
freaking bowling ball that he does with Black Mass, I was like, this is insane.
Yeah,
Like
it was the fight with Black Mass was cool.
that was pretty funny. Yeah. Like, especially that one panel too, that's
Right in his eyes, dude.
dude, yeah, that was
That was
crazy.
cool stuff.
That was crazy. I feel like Dragata's just having too much fun.
Hell yeah, he is, dude. Hey,
Yeah.
let him cook, man.
And not even that, I feel like I just love the fact that it ended the way it ended, where it's just like Alfred and he's like, all right,
I'm gonna
like,
piece you back together. If you're
yeah,
staying, I'm
let's let
staying,
me
dude.
patch you up, and it's like, all right, we're here now, they're together now, and
Yep.
I was like, that's great, and I also love, Martha basically punching the dude out.
Yeah, like yeah. I liked a little bit with them. It shows that like that's maybe where he gets a bit of his like you see that heroic streak in him from his parents. Like his dad was that way, his mom is that way, so it's kind of natural to see him
Yeah.
that
And
way.
there's a really good moment here where like Bruce like has a nightmare about his mom and then he goes in the other room
Yes,
and like
I
she
really like
he
that.
doesn't he doesn't even need to say a word and she's like, it's okay, come here. Like,
Yeah,
he doesn't need to say anything to her and she
when they
just
talk about the photo, like I thought that was a really
yeah.
good. You know.
Yeah, I love this first arc. I was really worried after reading the first issue, but
Yeah, I remember you
I
were like, I don't know.
yeah, I really love how this ended up turning out. And I remember not even really feeling Dragata's art that much, and now I can't imagine anybody else doing it. So,
Mhm.
like
All about it, dude. East to
yeah.
West is too good. This is just as good.
Oh, dude, by the way, I got to get that compendium that just came out for
I
that.
know, I know, I
You
know.
know,
I really want to get it, dude.
dude, because yeah, I'm loving that Image is coming out with these like $60 compendiums that collect everything. I'm like,
It's great, man, because most of their titles are like, especially like the big books are like 30 to 60 issues, and you just crank out a few
exactly.
compendiums or one compendium and you're good.
Yeah, exactly. And they're cool to just have on your bookshelf, but
Hell yeah, dude.
as for Batman, as unhinged and hilarious as that is, it's fantastic. It's still great at the end of the day. Not Dark Pattern's great, but great.
Oh, Dark Patterns is too good. Dark Patterns
Yeah.
is my favorite book.
Yeah. What
Let's
do you want to
talk
play?
New Gods.
Oh man, that Jenny Frison cover is just so
It's
good.
so good, dude. But the
Yeah.
best part about it is
Yeah, you still get the main
it's
cover.
a rain cover, baby.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that they do that.
So
Because
do
this is
I.
the back cover is the Batman Ninja, right?
Yeah.
Yep. They just staple it
They
on over it,
just
dude. It's
staple
great.
that. Yeah. They just staple the cardstock on it.
I love it, dude. It's great.
Yeah, so you still get both.
Except here's the thing is when you take it off, it just has the barcode. It doesn't have the price tag on it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No, that's how mine is too. The price tag's up here now for Marvel or for DC. The price
Put that
tag's
on the bottom.
nope.
It's not. Oh, okay, 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 okay. Never mind.
No, it's still but look at the top left, right? It's still
That's
up
right.
there.
That's right. You're right. You're right. You're right. Interesting. Okay, I got you.
Yeah, so it's literally the same.
Dude, the absolute Wonder Woman, her variant is crazy. Okay, okay, hold on. I don't want to take a break. I don't want to break us in this, but I need to take a break for this. That cover that's coming out, the Frozen. Oh shit. Hope I saved it. It's a C2E2 exclusive.
Oh man.
Not this one, but there is a foil version of that cover.
Oh, okay.
I did save it. Uh,
I love that.
it's no mass comics, but check this out, dude. Like this one has like it's like kind of like a reddish hue, like red armor, but this is like black, white, gray, gold, and the it's foil, dude.
Beautiful.
I
Like
have to
almost
get.
Xena, like, like
Yes, I'm
what?
gonna have to get this, dude. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Damn it.
I love Jenny Frisson's art, so
I
especially
know.
like bro,
I agree.
she does like a Poison Ivy variant every month, and they're
Yeah,
always it's like 10 out of 10, incredible.
the Mara one she's doing for Aquaman is really good too.
Hmm.
That one's really nice. But yeah, let's talk New Gods.
Yeah, dude.
So it kind of kicks off where you get like kind of a little bit of history, and I love that it's like this Kirby style armor.
Yeah.
I love it, dude.
Yeah.
It's
You
so
could tell
cool.
like they were like, yeah, Jack, this is like referencing Jack Kirby here. Like you could totally feel it.
And is it just me or does Allfather kind of look like
Yeah.
Kirby a little bit?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that was intentional.
I'm not tripping, right? Like he kind of looks
No.
like Kirby.
I think that was intentional. I think this is like a big homage to
It
Kirby.
has to be, dude. It looks like him.
It would be very Ron V like to do that too.
Yeah, and this is Bernard Chang doing this like first couple of pages, not Cagle, by the way.
Wait, what? Oh, so
These
this is
first couple of pages are Bernard Chang. Yeah.
okay.
But obviously, I think the one with like this page is definitely Cagle, I'm sure.
Yeah, the more anime kind of looking
Yeah, because then you have like the jump to like now
yeah,
where it's like though so like those aliens that those things that we saw in last issue, they've invaded New Genesis now.
right.
And then so basically who's leading the charge there is just Shadowfall.
Yeah.
And God, she's badass, dude.
It's incredible. That shit is
Like I don't know shit I don't really know much about her, but she's
Barda?
cool, bro.
Barda?
No, Shadowfall.
Oh, Shadowfall, yeah.
Like it's just such a like it's just a dope entrance too. Like she just comes out of the smoke, it's just her,
Yeah.
and then she sets up this sick ass bow, and then just bam,
Yeah.
just
It
rains
gives me
hell on
like
her.
those God of War Ragnarok with the spear where it's just like
Yes. Or it's
like
like or like some of those those Final Fantasy 14 cinematics
yeah, yeah.
where it's like all like they summon the magic, or like World of Warcraft cinematics where it's just like these crazy spells that come around and just like it's just like huge armies get wiped out by one character. I love stuff like that. So
Yeah,
this is just so cool, man.
it is, dude. Beautiful. Even that
Yeah, and you
even
have
just
the
like
whole
a splash page of that is just so good. Like just
yeah, and then you have the whole, everybody on like on Earth. You've got Barda and Oberon, Scott, Liv, the whole the Free family. They're trying to protect this kid.
right. But even it said in like the first issue that like Mr. Miracle lagged too long on deciding what to do.
Yeah,
So
yeah, because it said time flows differently, you know,
yeah, in New Genesis. So
on the fourth world.
yeah, which would make sense. It's outside the multiverse, right?
Yeah,
So that makes
and
complete
then yeah, so it's when we knew it was coming.
yeah,
Ryan told him in the first issue that, hey man, you got a week
yeah,
to figure it out, and I got to tell Allfather like what's up, until then. So then it jumps back to the fight, Magnar and Light Ray and everybody is fighting.
yeah,
But then the High Father goes into so he like the beginning of the issue they talk about the construction of this like mother box like or like in the early days of New
yeah,
Genesis when the world was being built. And High Father says like, oh, like we need to build a mother box at the core of the city, like at the core of the planet. So we have like basically unlimited power. And what's interesting is like he goes into it here at this moment, but before he goes into it, he uses the Heka, which is his staff, and it's a very like godlike Moses kind of thing. Like there's a lot obviously there's a lot of symbolism here.
yeah,
But what's cool is like he gives them all the full release of their abilities as he steps away, and he uses the staff to do so. Like he basically gives them all this boost.
yeah,
But then he steps out, and where he goes, we don't know. Where it takes him, we have no idea. But then you get a couple moments where like the army is still pushing on and they make this huge advance and the leader's basically saying like whatever happens happens, whoever dies dies, we just have to keep pushing. And she's Shadowfall's still wiping them out
Yeah.
on this front.
This art is sick too, dude.
Yeah. And then, Scott and Barton notice the God Surge while the fight is happening with Orion, and the kid kind of, you know, gets amped up. But then All
Yeah,
Father,
well, I thought that was great too, that Orion like goes after Scott and it's like Bart is just like, nope. Like,
just
yeah,
yanks his
like,
ass, dude.
no,
Yeah.
nope. Like,
What
and I'm like, dude, that's why I love Barda. She's just such a
Yeah.
bad.
And then the final page is High Father stepping out in this like badass armor that we see on the first on the cover as well.
Right.
It's the same as on the cover. But yeah,
This
what the
feels
theme,
like
I
an
don't know.
anime. Like it feels like I'm like a New Gods anime I'm reading. Like
Yeah,
it's
it's very, and here's the thing, it feels like in terms of like the cinematic quality, and that has to do with Cagle's art, I think.
yeah, for sure.
It's it feels a lot like Dawn Runner in that way because every page, every panel of Dawn Runner had a very cinematic feel to it, and
Right.
the way that they, like where he'd have like them angled, they almost like, and it was weird because you know how like some anime there's this like weird, it's almost like this transitional effect where it's like almost like a zooming in.
Yeah.
Some of his panels feel that way, like if you just like, and especially with the ones that are laid where it's like kind of like a closing in.
Yeah. Because I first
They're
saw
really
his
well
stuff
done.
when he was doing the covers for Detective Comics, dude, and
Yeah,
all of those covers are incredible.
they're
Like those,
great, dude. Yeah,
yeah, those are some of the best Batman covers I've like seen, and even then you could see a lot of like the anime style look,
yeah.
in that, very like just like Eastern looking. It's really cool. It's really
You
cool. It's really different.
want to talk Satana really quick?
Oh man, I love this
I
book.
love this cover, dude.
Oh, I love this book. Like
Yeah,
this
it's
book
great.
is so great. Like,
Like just like the black and the pink on the back. I love this cover, dude. It's so good.
even this like main cover is just
Yeah, even
oh,
but Nakayama's my guy, dude. So this is oh, hold on. I'm gonna have to go dig it. Okay? You start on it real quick.
no, but like yeah, this Zatanna's basically got stabbed last issue with like this like invisible blade that like she can only see, or some weird, and it's basically making her like trip out, and she keeps like passing out, nodding off and stuff. And dude, like you could just like stare at this art because like dude, I
No.
I skipped over this, but this first page is just so good with
Yeah.
her.
So like
Oh my
where the
god.
story kicked off last time. So like Zatanna is at she used to be in Las Vegas.
Right.
That's where she used to perform, but now I'm pretty sure it's San Francisco is
Mhm.
where she's at as of the first issue of this. Um,
Right.
so
And
like
it
the
was
first
a white lady, right? That
yeah, the Lady White. So
yeah.
like the first issue kicked off where it's like her finishing up a show or rehearsing for a show or whatever, and she has this like helpers and like co-stars and performers that perform with her, help her, help do her show.
Yeah.
And one of them, Adam, works with her, and he's like a big fan. Like is like this is like his break, whatever. So then like they noticed that there's just painting the Lady White on there,
Right.
and it's like um kind of things kind of play out. Some magic happens. The Lady White invades the theater, kidnaps all of her like her stage hands. So she ends up going to save them all. The last one is Adam. Turns out he's like it kind of appears like he's working with her, or that
Right.
he's been like, like being controlled by her. But then she gets stabbed with the sword and kind of left for dead. And that's where we pick up with this issue. So yeah, it's really, really good, man.
Yeah.
It's cool to see like the last issue, the first issue had like the little bit with who I assume is her mom and her dad. It really like obviously it looks like it's her mom and her dad. Because it opens up with kind of like her mom, Cinderella, I think is her name. I'm not remembering that right, I don't think, but maybe.
I don't remember what her mom's name is.
I think Cinderella. I might I think so. God, let me look this up. Yes, yes, Cinderella. I was
Okay.
right. Okay. So I'm pretty sure this is Zatara. God damn it, I can't remember her stupid dad's name. I'm like an idiot. It's her dad and Cinderella. God, I'm wasting so much time on this.
Or it's
Regardless,
yeah,
it's keeping up with that. The first page is a story about her and like her mom and her dad. And then it just keeps going on with the Oblivion bar. So like that's introduced
yeah. I thought that was
like,
cool.
they reference it in the first page and then they immediately jump to it. It's just kind of like showing you little bits of like where some of the magic there is, you know? So she goes in, she gets taken care of by I think it's Madame Xanadu, Blue Devil,
Yeah,
Bobo, you know, kind of the crew that's there at and the Oblivion bar is dead. Like there's no people there. Like nobody is using the Oblivion bar anymore.
yeah, and Bobo's there because
Yeah,
Justice.
Bobo's there. He's kind of him, like 'cause he runs the shop, I think, right? Now, or yeah, he runs the bar now because
Yeah,
he's got the sword and everything. Dude, he's got so many responsibilities. I feel bad for him, bro.
yeah, man. I know, I know.
He didn't ask for any of it.
Looks like he hates his life, bro. Like,
You know, that's why he's drinking all the time, man.
yeah, exactly. He's like,
So yeah, basically the whole plot of this issue is her trying to get the sword out and it's stuck, and also her trying to figure out what happened to Adam
right,
and catching the Lady White.
right.
So she goes back home to Shadow Crest. Still can't get the sword out after doing like all of the spells that she can think of, she can't get it out. So then we end up going, we flash to the Lady White and Adam, and he's like, kind of looks like his face is melting. But I imagine it's a bit like an Igor like
Yeah,
situation, you know.
yeah,
Maybe he like swapped with he was never on her side to begin with, you know. Maybe he was always a bad guy and he was a plant. So who knows? But yeah, you get Brother Knight who returns. He showed up in I believe he first shows up in Paul Dini's run.
oh,
That's
okay.
the first time I remember seeing him. Which I finished that finally the last year.
And it was great,
Really,
right?
really, really great run. But yeah, Brother Knight's a cool character. So yeah, it's cool to see him back and he's working with the Lady White. I'm curious. I wonder who she is. I don't even know.
I don't
Like,
know. I don't know. I'm really,
maybe she's just a magical entity. I have no idea.
yeah.
Yeah, she's interesting, really interesting so far. Blue Devil comes in to help her out. She's at Adam's apartment,
Hmm.
and then she opens the door and just a bunch of flesh hanging around. So her and Blue Devil hack away. It's like a big fleshy mess in this dude's room.
Right.
And then meanwhile, you get Xanadu playing the cards, you know, doing the tarot cards and kind of reading. But what I would assume it would be for Zatanna
Hmm.
because it's kind of like her fate. And then they find his body. It looks like he's been dead for weeks, she says.
Yeah,
Whenever,
but she saw him yesterday.
yeah.
So
So there's some funky business going on there.
yeah, whether it's a body swap or some time travel
Yeah.
shenanigans.
And then she gets dragged into the TV,
Yeah, or yeah, well, she's back. Yeah, well, she
or she
sees.
jumps into the TV
Yeah,
because yeah, she's
she
dealing with
sees
authority
the lady white
right
with
on the
somebody
TV.
who says that looks familiar, and then she goes into the TV, and when she
Yes,
sees the guy,
and it's Bruce Wayne.
yeah,
It's got to be Bruce Wayne.
it is.
Looks just like him, dude.
Yeah,
I mean, obviously, but she
I
says
mean, his
Bruce.
eyebrows are shaped like bat wings. I mean, did you see that? Like, come
I
on.
did it, but yes, I did it, but yes, yes. Obviously, she says Bruce, but also it's like, yeah, that's hella funny. Yeah, it's a good issue though.
Yeah,
I liked it.
yeah, I really enjoy this issue. I can't wait. Is this a limited?
5 or 6 issues, I think.
Man, she needs a like a run. Like she needs a run,
I
run.
know. The dream would be it gets extended to an ongoing. But yeah, look at man, my Nakayama foils are growing.
Yeah, dude.
My Power Girl. But now I got both my favorite magical ladies right here.
Yeah. Oh man.
Right. Foil.
Satana's she's like my number one, dude. She's just
Yep.
she's always been like my number one, dude. That's been May for me for
Yes, sir, dude.
those dark hair, just the fishnets, the dark hair, the magi like oh
The whole outfit.
Yeah, everything.
We can talk this real fast, I guess.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Fill me in on that.
It's pretty cool. I haven't read any Sonic comics like at all ever. I've only ever been a game fan, I guess, and movies.
Mhm.
Movies are pretty cool. But yeah, I this was cool. I liked it. It's really really just straightforward. Darkseid is looking for
The Chaos
the
Emerald.
the equation, and he's just scouring worlds, and he goes to Sonic's dimension in this giant, like Eggman like thing, but it's him. It's called the Ragnarok,
That's pretty cool.
and yeah, it's the writer from may even be the artist of the Sonic book, because
That's cool.
so check this out. Like when I went to Baltimore, we had Trish Forstner, the artist of like Stray Dogs and Feral,
Okay.
do a Sonic sketch for my kid, and just like talking to her about it, she said like that she was on the short list to do the art for Sonic at one point, but they ended up not choosing her because they found somebody that basically could replicate what they wanted to see on the page because they had a very particular like version and image of Sonic that they wanted to put on the page.
Right.
So if that is in line with how they feel, I would imagine Sega and IDW are probably like, you have to use writer and artist that we choose,
Right.
you know, which I would imagine that principle didn't just go away because DC's it's got their brand on it, you know what I mean?
Right.
Because they have the same writer. So I don't
It's
know. I'd
published
have to
as a
look into that.
DC
I don't know
book
who the
though.
writer,
It's
who the
published as a
artist is.
DC book, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's published as DC and Sega. So I don't
Okay.
know. We'll see what happens. But yeah, um, I'll look into that to see if that's like the same writer or the artist as the main Sonic book. But yeah, it's like the Parademons invade. They kind of run away, and then it's Knuckles fighting on Angel Island, which there's a lot of references to some like the Sonic games and other stuff
Yeah.
in the Sonic universe. Like when Angel Island falls, that's something that's happened in the games before. You have like right off like when Sonic meets one of the Justice Leaguers, it's Flash is the first one he meets, and they like race, and he's like, "Crackle, what are you doing here?" And that's a reference to when um Wally raced Crackle in Wade's run, but it's like during the Millar
Oh wow.
Morrison stuff, like the
Oh
human
cool.
race. Yeah, so it's cool. It's like a reference to that because he looks a lot like like he looks that character looks like Sonic. Has
Okay.
like the like it's he's all blue. He's like kind of made of lightning. He's an alien. And he has like the spines that look like Sonic. So that's a cool reference to that. And you have Silver the Hedgehog with like here, I'll just show you like when they kind of meet up. Like here's Knuckles fighting.
Okay.
Here's Sonic and
Oh, that's dope.
Flash racing.
So we're supposed to believe that Sonic is as fast as the Speed Force now?
He's faster, it says.
Hey.
Yeah, he outruns Flash. Barry at least, because this is Barry.
Okay, okay, okay.
So he
I was about to say, I don't believe he's
he's
outpacing Wally.
never outrunning Wally West.
Right,
Not a million years.
right,
A
I
million years. So they had to use Barry because they didn't want Sonic to lose. That's why.
right.
And then you got Silver the Hedgehog meeting Green Lantern.
Okay.
And then after that you've got Shadow and Batman.
Oh, that just makes sense, right? That just
Yeah.
makes sense. The
Wonder Woman and
brooding,
Amy, and then Tails and Cyborg.
that makes sense.
And then obviously and then it comes in Superman and Knuckles work together.
That's a little weird, but okay,
Superman had saved him as the island was falling.
okay,
So he swooped in and they're working together. And because and they kind of relate because and they talk about how like they're related to each other. Like Knuckles is the last of his kind. Clark is the last of his kind. You know what I mean? Like,
right. That makes sense. Okay,
yeah,
I see that.
yeah, that's cool. So like they get little moments where they introduce each other and you see like the lineups for each team.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's interesting. I really enjoyed it.
Damn. Yeah, I'm gonna have to get that in a trade now too.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine it'll go to a second print.
Yeah, it probably will. You're right.
Yeah, and then it like they all split up and they do their thing. and Flash and Sonic are racing, and then they go to where's the place to go to? What the heck, man? South Island. And then bam, Darkseid's there, and he's got the Chaos Emerald.
Okay.
Because the Master Emerald was broken when he shattered it, and that was able to help him find the Chaos Emeralds.
So
They have unlimited power, so he's going to use it to, you know,
yeah, let's
find
take.
the anti-life equation, probably.
That's cool, man. I
It's
can't
cool.
wait.
It's a cool little thing.
Yeah, I'll put that on my
Uh,
poll if they come out with a second print.
yeah. What do you want to talk about next?
Let's give a break from DC and go into
Yeah, I'd say that's the last DC thing I got. One more over Doom, real quick.
yeah, Doom, man, because this was a really cool issue, man. This was really good.
Alessandro Cappuccio variant.
Oh, that's dope.
Sick variant, dude. Yeah,
Uh,
great
a
variant.
lot of cool stuff happens in this. Like from basically like I
They
love
kind of
the Valeria bit.
Yeah. Let's just start with like the yeah, I guess we can kind of piece it apart. The premise of this issue is still the Fantastic Four is trying to like prove that Doom is like a crook. He's like doing this for ulterior motives, which Doom always is, but like he's also not really doing anything to hurt anybody except the vampires at this point.
He's a
You know, like he's a,
communist questioning democracy.
yeah, exactly. So like yeah, exactly. And the other thing is like he makes it like just from the jump. He's like, all right, borders are not a thing. You can go anywhere, be anywhere, live anywhere, work anywhere, love anywhere. You can do whatever you want. Basically, he's like those rules that were in place before do not exist. You are in united world.
Right. But it's very
Which
on the nose because of Trump saying, like, there's an
like
imaginary
and here's the
line between
yes.
Canada and the United States.
Yes, like
It's
and
so
there's a
cool.
lot of parallels that can be drawn to the real world right now.
Yeah.
But what's really interesting is this is still in line with how Doom was seeing things back when Ewing was writing him in Guardians. And Doom has felt for years now that what and he knows this because he's kind of stepped up to that level a couple times. You know, when he took the power of the Beyonder and when he was part of the Guardians for Ewing's Guardians. He realizes that Earth is will never be a level player on the galactic level because of the division on the planet itself.
Right.
Like you've got the Skrull, you've got the Kree, you've got all of these other like the Shi'ar, you've got all of these other alien races. They're united as a planet. You know, for the most part, they don't really care about what the skin of of the Skrull next to them looks like. Hell, they don't even give a shit about what the Skrull is turning into next to them. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like a scroll isn't gonna transform into a white person and be like, oh, you know, now all of a sudden I hate the scroll because he's turning into a black. You know, like that's just not. And Doom realizes that these petty issues that humans dabble in are something that these other races don't deal with, and that's why they play at such a higher level in the universe. And that's what's holding humanity back. And this is part of his goal, I think.
Right.
And you get glimpses of this because in the solicitations they talk about how Dormammu is going to step in halfway through this, which they've already tangled. Dormammu's already had to deal with Doom when he dealt with him in Last Annihilation, so it's there's a lot of carryover
Right.
over the last couple of years, and it's going to tie in, I think, pretty well. You just have the added benefit of a lot of funky shit going on in our world right now, and there North is just riffing off of it hard,
Yeah.
and it works, I think.
It's working. Yeah.
Really well.
And I'm glad I read Avengers right before I read this because it ends where Avengers ends. It like picks up here, right
Yep.
where it ends.
Yeah, I read Avengers before I read this as well.
So like I'm really glad that happened because I was like, wow, that was a pretty seamless. Like I can believe that this felt so seamless.
Yeah.
That was a good way to do it. I'm loving this.
Um,
I love just that Valeria moment in this is just so good. Like,
yes, Valeria and Doom, great. You know, I can't get enough of when they're on the page together because it's just great.
yeah, yeah. I mean,
I love how it's like an intellectual like this seems to be like a regular thing. Like they have regular meetings to challenge each other's intellect
yeah,
and like how they see the world. Because at the end of the day, I think their core values are opposite. You know what I mean? Like he's very much a villain and he sees the world a certain way, whereas while she's as smart as she is, she's still a child.
Right.
And doesn't have the same life experience or the same like hasn't had to deal with the same adversity that somebody like Doom has had to deal with for as long, or to basically have the world pitted against him at every turn when he sometimes he's not entirely wrong.
Right. A lot of times he's right. That's the sad
It's
part.
just the way he goes about everything is
Yeah.
so and he doesn't pull any punches with her. Like he's straight up just saying, like, I do this straight for the glory of it because I'm the only one that can.
Yeah.
And if I'm the only one that can do it, I may as well do it and flaunt it while I'm doing it.
Right. And Valeria knows him well enough to know that, like, you're not doing this for
Yes.
anybody but yourself.
And I like how he even says like he even like they even talk about kind of having an ideological difference here.
Yeah.
And she's like, I hope, basically she's not really sure how to feel about it at this point, so she doesn't say anything. And he just says like, well, let me prove my actions to you.
Right.
Let me show you what I mean. Like, let me prove it to you.
Hmm.
And that's really interesting
Yeah. And then,
because he doesn't give anybody else in the world the same respect to do that.
right. And then basically it's like, like the Fantastic Four then want to basically interrupt this speech that Doom's doing in front of like the world and the world leaders and stuff and kind of just
And then he dead man switches these rifles on these people,
yeah, because
or these
it's
pistols on these
very
people.
just like this, where it's like the people believe him so much.
They're willing to die for him. Or
Yes.
they're not even to die for, like,
And
basically,
even like he
basically
tells
just
Reed, he's
die
like,
for pointless reasons for nothing.
you're gonna hurt this person for expressing their freedom of speech. Like you're gonna,
Right, and exactly. Like they knew full well when they put their hand on the trigger that if it was taken from them or they die, like they're or like what was it? What did you said? If they take what the hell did you say? Yeah, the weapons are ready to explode if tampered with or if removed from their hands willingly. So if like Johnny were to try and heat him up and stop it from working, or if Sue were to try,
right.
or if Bree were to put in like you have some weird tech and he was going to use it and try and like break up, mess with it, it wouldn't work. It would explode. Or if they got beat up and they were removed, it would explode. So they have it's so cool to see like how what a grip he put on the world so fast.
Yeah.
And how everybody's like, yeah, man, like let's do it.
Yeah.
Probably
Like
not realizing what some of the repercussions are going to be, obviously. But from the jump, everything looks great. Like it's hard to argue.
yeah. And it's
Hard to
funny too
argue.
because like it shows like people being interviewed too, and they're like, I hear him being called dictator this, dictator that, and it's just the media, and it's like, dude,
Yeah, I think that
it's
was that was
so.
pretty funny as well.
I'm like, dude, this is crazy. But then the best moment of the whole thing is Doom basically says, like, I'm better than you, Reed, like always, and I can do something that you have never been able to do. And boom, we get a normal Ben Grimm.
Yeah. Well, like, and here's the thing is, for a moment, I'm almost like, man, like, what is Ben gonna think? But then he's just so like torn apart
Yeah,
because
he's like, my powers are
he's finally come to terms with that's just who he was.
right.
So
And
to
he
have
says
that,
that. He even tells Reed, he's like, you don't like,
I
I'm
don't blame
not
you
upset
anymore.
with
Like,
you
yeah,
anymore. I'm
yeah,
not
like
upset
I
with
don't,
you anymore. It's okay.
yeah.
Like,
It's like tragic, but also like he
it's
finally got something that he never thought he was going to be able to have again.
right. When he was wanting this so
I'm
much, like,
interested
getting
to
it.
see what the fallout of this particular moment is going to be, like how that plays out over the next like couple issues of Fantastic Four, or hell, what happens if he still doesn't have his powers when the title relaunches and they're thrust into different parts?
Well, they just lost their muscle.
Yeah,
Just basically crippled the Fantastic Four because they just lost their muscle.
yeah.
Like,
Well, like, and here's the thing: the next issue of Fantastic Four is called Fantastic Three,
right.
and then the issue after that is Fantastic Two.
So he's just nerfing
So
them
who's
all.
losing their powers next?
He's probably going to take all of them except Reed's. Because to
You
be
would
honest with you,
imagine.
Susan's probably the biggest threat out of all of them.
Oh yeah, no, for sure, and she's proven that.
Yeah.
Like,
So
and they're like, yeah, exactly,
so it's
man.
probably going to be Reed last.
Oh, dude.
Because I
This
don't
is
really see
cool.
fire affecting Sorcerer Supreme Doom,
No, but I could also imagine him just taking it out of just like sheer, just like, look, I can just do it. Like, I'm just gonna do it now.
Yeah.
and then obviously you have the Avengers getting ready to respond.
Right.
But and I thought this was a really cool final page. The Avengers respond, or they're like getting ready to because they're like we're losing, and then we basically we need a backup plan, and everybody like all of these people also hate Doom, so let's team up with the Masters of Evil and
Yes.
let's take his ass out. I thought that was
Yes.
cool. I liked it.
Yes. So cool.
MODOK looks really weird here.
Who?
MODOK.
Yeah, he does.
He just looks so different than what I'm used to seeing him. I also never seen RB Silva draw him either, so maybe that's it.
Right. We're just used to seeing him smile and showing teeth a lot of the
Yeah,
time.
exactly.
Like,
He
so
has like a full face in
yeah.
this. That's like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and it's not freaking what was his name? In freaking Ant-Man.
Oh yeah, Yellow Jacket.
Yeah.
Yeah, good issue. I really like the second issue. I'm
Yeah,
hoping
man.
it'll keep on.
Yeah. I'm loving everything that North is doing.
Yep.
And McKay's really going well with it because this really felt like
Yeah, keep going.
hmm. And I just can't wait to see how Jed McKay and those two work together because that was pretty cool. I think this was like the perfect way to do a tie-in. Usually I can't stand tie-ins, but it's like, hey, this felt like equal link in the chain. Like, and especially and I would say that it felt like that for Fantastic Four as well. Like both of those just feel like an extension of the same chain. Like it feels like this could be all just like one series, all those together. And I really like that. I really like that I don't have to go and get 20 other books to show me what's happening in the world over there during this event.
All right, all right, all right. I agree, but also I think what's going to be fun with this is seeing some of the tie-ins
Yeah.
and like
Well,
Iron Man. I've been reading Iron Man.
mhm.
It's okay, but it's cool to see like what Tony's been like doing in the world now that Doom has taken over.
Right.
Or it'll be cool to see like shit. I don't even know how that may even be. Scarlet Witch is not really happening right now. That's on a break for
Oh,
like a minute. So I don't know. We'll see. Like looks like Iron Man. I'm interested to see how that's going to tie into it. Maybe I'm reading West Coast Avengers also.
okay.
Maybe that'll tie into it. I have no idea.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's cool so far. It's cool
Yeah.
to see like a Fantastic Four, especially. I'll be reading. I'm still going to be reading that. So I'm interested to see how that's going to unfold.
Before we end with Power Fantasy, I do want to just touch on this and how great this has been. Surprise sleeper here. Again, not as great as Dark Patterns, but this is really good. This is a Mikael Yanin's doing some of the. I think this is like the best I've ever seen him, and he's always pretty great. But
Yeah.
he's doing his own colors, and he really knows how to make his own art pop. Like it's insane to me. Usually, I feel like usually I feel like pencilers aren't like have the talent to do the inks and to do the colors and to master them. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, there's another artist right now. Mateus de Luis.
mhm.
There he's doing the art for Absolute Wonder Woman issue 6. Another artist that colored their own stuff,
Right.
and it looks incredible. So kudos to any of the artists that are out there coloring their own work, and it turns out great because it looks like if you can do it, absolutely do it.
I mean, you're doing three times the work with the
Right,
inks and the coloring. You're doing three times the work here. That's why I
right.
like say what you will about Ultimate X-Men, but Peach Momoko has been putting that out consistently every month with three of those duties. And it's on issue 13. And
Mm,
she is
yeah,
so consistent. There's artists that can't even do three issues without, and they're just penciling. So you look at somebody like Peach Momoko, and you gotta love her work ethic, man. That's
that's right.
you know. And I don't know.
Who
This
you still think
I think Elixir is her mom. Or no, I think Asima
the
is her mom, and I think Elixir is probably gonna be like I think Elixir's the other chick, the redheaded chick.
well, isn't Elixir just like the company that's kind of like funding?
Right, but I think that like chick that's like with them with the spiky hair.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like she's like could be working with them. I
Yeah,
could see that. Yeah, I could see that. I don't know. Yeah,
because she's always like shh, they're listening, shh.
yeah.
And like I feel like it's because like her assistant's literally right there.
I did like Taylor's use of like how he had Batman play her like with like her like him basically like having that one up of the whole confidentiality thing
Yeah.
and nobody knowing that Batman is Bruce Wayne. So he was able to play her with a double identity and then catch her on like right there,
Yeah.
right after getting off the phone with her. I thought that was really cool. I thought that was a
Yeah.
good use of the Batman identity with
And I mean, it's pretty brutal. Like, if you think about it, like, dead children's blood are pumping through Bruce's, like, body.
yeah,
So, like, of course, like, he's gonna be like, what the f
having an issue. Yeah,
And then I think it's great, too, just to avoid any suspicion. Like, that's right when he breaks through the window, is like right when hanging up, because it's gonna be
yeah,
like, dude, I just got off the phone with you. What the hell? Like, it
yeah,
can't be
exactly.
me. It
But
can't be
like,
me.
yeah, no, it was good stuff. I really liked
Mhm.
it.
I can't wait to see what's next with it. And I'm not saying this is like the greatest Batman book, but it is a lot of fun and it's really good art.
Yeah, it's been interesting. I was giving it a hard time at first. I still don't like that it's so reliant on it being like
No.
retconning Bruce's origin, but it's
Yeah.
fine. His moment with Joe Chill was cool, I thought.
Well, I like that too because it was like, Joe Chill was like, I didn't know that I had a daughter.
Yeah, yeah, I
I
didn't
didn't
know
know
either.
that your dad saved my life. Like basically, he basically confirms that like he doesn't know shit. Like
Yeah, it literally just
so it's
happened
like
by
it's not
happenstance.
too drastic of a change, It's not as
Right, but
drastic
also
as
it's
we thought
like
it was gonna
if
be.
you go through all that trouble to make it still a random, like a just happenstance thing, like you don't, it doesn't like that now it doesn't mean anything to me at all.
Right.
Like now that he took an oath and he did all this, like now I don't give a shit. Like I really just don't care. So like this story could still be told with like billionaire socialite Bruce Wayne is trying this experimental, you know, he as Bruce Wayne, he gets the extra benefit of it because he's Batman and he can stay in the game longer, but nobody else knows that. So you get this kind of double-edged thing where it's
Mhm.
the billionaire only because he's rich does he have access to this. It furthers the whole point of he can only be Batman and keep being Batman because he is rich.
Mhm.
So I think if you take that angle and strip away all of it having to do with his origin, it's still interesting.
Mhm.
And now I don't have to worry about the whole situation with like, well, it was still a random mugging and he still shot my parents, and it doesn't really matter that my dad saved his life at the end of the day, because it could have just been another random person that shot and killed his parents.
Right.
Like it could have been any one of those people that Thomas Wayne may have operated on. And maybe I'm alone in feeling that way, but it kind of kills it for me. I still think the story on its own is good. I just think that
Right.
it's so reliant on that is where it keeps me
Yeah.
from really enjoying it.
Yeah.
Kind of lame, but whatever.
But I think that's basically to get Joe Chill out of the story now. I feel like what he's done, he's
I
not going
think
to be in
he's
the
good.
story anymore. He's gone.
Yeah,
Like,
well, right. It's like we can close that door and now we can just, I mean, granted, we're still focusing on his daughter, but
right.
it's not really about her being his daughter now. It's just more so about that was the plot device to kind of fit her in, I guess.
Yeah,
And now
exactly.
that she's in, she's in. You don't really need to worry about it. And
Right.
and maybe it'll wrap up by the end of this arc. We won't have to worry about them. It'll move on to something else,
Yeah.
which is my hope. And it's not just we keep having to tie back to this stuff.
Right. I like it. I'm going to keep reading it. Great.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna keep reading it. The McKellen art is really good.
Yeah, it's the best job. It's the
Hang around, dude.
best art, man. So it's really
All
good.
right.
And yeah, we will finish it now with one of your favorite books right now.
The Power Fantasy. I hate weeks like this, but I love weeks like this
Yeah.
because they make it so hard for me to pick my favorite book of the week,
Did
dude.
you get multiple covers of this?
I did.
I figured. But this cover is sick, dude. Oh my God, that is way dope.
Yeah. Yeah, the variants
I
are
love
really
that
cool.
the variants keep the same scheme. Like I would get
Yes.
variants more if they kept the same like logo scheme and everything like that.
Yes, the variants are so clean, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. But yeah, dude. So we've been teasing this second summer of love for a
Right.
couple of issues now. We got glimpses of it Like in issue 3, we see that Europe is wiped off the face of the globe, like the UK and all that. Most, parts of a very, very large portion of Europe has been wiped off the planet. We learn kind of the beginnings of that in this issue, but over the like 4 and 5, maybe even 3 still, we show like how Magus, the guy who runs the pyramid, he stepped in and he saved a bunch of people, but he's still so upset that he wasn't able to save more. You
Mhm.
have Eliza Hellbound, who we've yet to see what role she played in that event, but it seems like they've all played a very pivotal role in saving the world
Right.
in the second Summer of Love, and this is part one of that. So, and Gillen's done a really good job of world building, but also drip feeding these events. And
Yeah.
I have issue 3 right here just because I was trying to like thumb through and see if I could find it. Um, yeah, so like here is yeah, right here. And here's a timeline. So there's like the last 2 pages of
Oh
it.
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So here, yeah, here's where a lot of Europe is wiped out in the UK. And then you've got the timeline of events from 45 when you've got Valentina being born, and then in 89 where you've got the second Summer of Love. But as of right now, like the present day is taking place in 99, as far as I can tell.
Right.
But I'll just read like the quick synopsis from the timeline. It says 1989, the Queen arrives from outside existence, precipitating the second Summer of Love. See issue 7, which is where we are now. And then it says, what seems to be a true new age ends with her attempt to destroy reality. The Descension of Eliza Hellbound, see issue 8. The Pyramid in Hell, see issue 10. All the Western Eurasian landmass up to and including Moscow was destroyed, precipitating the collapse of the Soviet Union. So in an attempt to destroy all of reality, the six superpowers came together to stop her. But there's also a big fallout of events that happen after that.
Right.
Eliza Hellbound's Ascension, which we'll see next issue, and then the Pyramid in Hell in issue 10. So I would imagine that post the second Summer of Love, all of these players come into play. They play their role. Eliza ends up saving the day, is what it seems like, at a great cost, drags the pyramid into hell. I don't think that these when they reference heaven and hell, I don't think they're meant in like the biblical or like these literal senses. I think it's more so like a dimensional thing.
Right. Right.
Like you're gonna see this like, Valentina and maybe the queen came from this other dimension that really kind of does seem like heaven to the mortal mind, where everything is paradise, it's perfect, it's like their idea of perfect, and you have all of these gifts and abilities.
Right.
But then you have the opposite end of things where Eliza taps into in hell, and it comes from a different, like it's beneath, like I would imagine it's probably layered in some fashion. Like I'm sure that there are this a dimensional stuff at play, but then you also have your wild card, who at least up until this issue I thought was a real wild card. I think it might be Eliza now in terms of like who can sway the balance of power is Masumi. We don't know where her power comes from, we just know that it's tied to her emotional state.
Right.
So if all of these sit on a spectrum of abilities and they're all kind of like atomic power, and they all kind of in the way that the mutant abilities work, and it's just traced to the DNA. But how do you have people like the Queen or Valentina or Eliza or Masumi? Where do they draw their power from and how?
Right. Well, it said the queen came from outside of existence.
Right, exactly. Exactly. So did she come from that heaven dimension? Which
Right.
I guess all of these questions lead us to right now in issue 7, because you've got 1989. Magus is trying to do his thing with the pyramid. Um, and then Valentina, like this, like energy output starts happening in Manchester. And Valentina goes to it and sees the queen sitting there at a playground.
Right.
And
And you
she's
see
just
what's all
saying, like,
around her too. Look what's all around her.
yeah, like mushrooms.
Psilocybin mushrooms,
Yeah,
psychedelic.
mushrooms and this like really psychedelic colors come into play.
Yeah.
She's even looking like kind of trippy.
Hmm.
Then you have this jump back and forth to um Eliza's place, where Valentina goes there in present time, and it's at the what looks like that. I just had it open. Right here.
Right.
the middle of where, the site of everything happened. And the her temple, yeah, it's Manchester, exactly same spot. It's just the temple. This is probably the only thing she was able to save, and it's like the site of her greatest sin.
Right.
And events are kind of playing out alongside each other while we're getting the flashback to the second summer of love in '99. You've got uh Jackie Magus is addressing the world, and he works with the U.S. now, and he's like going to supply the U.S. with pyramid tech. Masumi's like, oh, like this is not like, what do we do about this? Um, and then Masumi's girlfriend ends up talking about uh the second summer of love because it's something that like is a pretty touchy subject with Masumi, but they keep putting it off.
Right.
And so she eventually, like, she finally says, okay, we're going to talk about it.
Right.
Because it kind of seems to be like,
Like
tempers are
a
kind of
wall
flared
between
right
them.
now.
Like a
Yeah,
wall.
tempers are kind of flared between the superpowers and the atomics and some of the governments right now. And things have been kind of shaky.
Right.
So why not add another element of chaos into the mix, I guess.
Right.
It's kind of what it seems like, like all this stuff is about to happen. Let's add one more variable in there to kind of shake things up is kind of what Gillen seems to be doing.
Right.
And yeah, you get like more of the flashbacks between like there's some riots happening because like people are gathering and they're just like feeling the love and they're enjoying music and they're on drugs and they're just like really having these awesome like they're just like in paradise. And the queen comes up and just stops it. Send, influences all these people to just feel the peace.
Right. But what I think you're right that she comes from heaven because she's saying, I'm trying to make heaven on earth. I'm trying to
Yes,
make heaven on earth. And it's like becomes like this weird hippie cult kind of thing.
exactly, yeah.
So it's pretty cool. I
And
really
it's really cool to see like how close and Valentina even admits like this is partially my fault. Like I could have saved us
Mhm.
had I not been so just like enamored and like drawn in by her. She was like smitten by the queen. Like this idea of heaven and paradise and love and peace for
So
everybody.
do you think like Etienne did something to or
Like with the queen?
yeah.
No. I don't think he stepped in yet. I think this is purely just a case of a godlike being not actually realizing the shortcomings of a mortal being. So when they reach this pinnacle and they reach the peak and it's not enough for them and there's not enough beauty and peace and paradise what they actually have in mind is not attainable, that's when the breakdown happens. And
Hmm.
I think that's kind of what this is like, and it's Valentina realizing we like this is not meant for humanity. Like not yet at least.
We're not
Because
evolved
and
yet.
you even get the double page spread of like Valentina just in like just soaking it in and like humanity just enjoying this paradise.
Beautiful color
And
in this issue, by the way. Beautiful
yeah,
color.
exactly, yes. And the queen is like, this is as good as it gets. And then Valentina says, you did it. And then she realizes and she's like, what's wrong? And she's like, it's not enough. It's not even close. And then we start to see like reality fracture,
Right.
even like on the page right there. And then the sun goes dark, but it's all these like bright, crazy colors in the sky.
Yeah, dude.
And then Eliza comes out. And then like she's basically saying that like my greatest sin is that they said that I saved the world.
Right.
Probably because of the number of lives she had to sacrifice to do so.
Exactly.
But really, really, it's crazy because like just when I think I kind of have an idea of where this book is going to go, this issue comes out and it throws me for a complete loop because I was really confident this was going to remain like a pretty like one like especially now like I was under the impression that this kind of worked the way that mutant powers worked is like it's just like the X gene where everybody has this piece of their DNA that makes them an atomic. But when you throw characters like this queen in there and they come from a different dimension and you have these it kind of and the illusions throughout the first six issues that some of their powers come from a different place, it really shifts things because now it's like you get these like really like otherworldly or kind of like cosmic aspects to it that I didn't feel like it had before.
Yeah.
and
It's very like Nine
it,
Realms, like
it
world.
very it kind of shifts the narrative in a way that I wasn't expecting, and I'm really interested to see where it's going to go.
Yeah, it gives me like World Tree vibes, with like just all these different realities and different like
Yeah,
close, but like they're separate, but they're close and they can
yeah,
affect each other.
definitely. I'm still enjoying this book, dude. It's
Yeah,
so good.
me
Every issue
too.
is just a
Yeah, beautiful colors, beautiful art.
grade A
I
issue.
hope we never get a guest artist or a guest colorist because good.
And these books don't ever tend to get them. Once in Future didn't, Die didn't. I don't think The Wicked and the Divine did. Like
I don't
anything
want
that
to see
Gillen
anybody
does.
else's art from this because it's just
Nope.
so good.
I have two indie recs before we finish up real quick.
For sure.
The Sacrificers, which I thought this was the last issue. It's not. It's still going. It's just on a break until the summer.
Oh,
So
okay.
glad.
Okay.
She was a banger, dude. It was so good. Main guy, Pigeon, the guy who's been like the Kratos now of this
Oh
book,
yeah, yeah, yeah. Pigeon.
finally we're getting to the fight against Rokos, the main sun god.
That's dope.
We fire. And then my favorite aspect of this whole universe is the Black Axe stuff. So it's really cool to finally get like the origin of it and who made it, why it was made, why it has the legend it does in the story and in the world. It's cool. I really like
Yeah,
this.
I've always wanted to get into Mouse Guard,
Yeah,
so
great series, man. Really, really good stuff. But I think that's it, man.
yeah,
We
we
covered
did. We
a lot of
went for a
comics.
while today. It was a big week. So hopefully our
Big
week
one.
next week
Yes.
is a little nicer to us.
Yeah, I know. But there were just a lot of great books, man. It's not even like there were like I read a lot every week, I think, at this point, but there were just a lot of good books that I wanted to
Yeah,
talk about.
yeah. It's been pretty slow this year up until like it feels like only a
Last
few
couple
weeks.
months, man.
Yeah.
Now just gas.
hmm We're in
Now
the
to the end of the year, it's gonna be gas, dude.
Yep.
All right. That's it, guys. Peace out.
Stay safe, everybody.